The 39-year-old pop star told a California judge yesterday she was forced to take the drug lithium, forced to perform, and forced to take birth control. She said, quote, "I wanted to take the IUD out so I could start trying to have another baby, but this so-called team won't let me because they don't want me to have any more children." In 2008, a judge created a conservatorship requested by her father, Jamie Spears, after concerns about her mental health. He had power over her life choices until 2019, and now he shares control of her finances, and a court-appointed professional oversees her personal matters. Jamie Spears' representative said yesterday, quote, he is sorry to see his daughter suffering and in so much pain.
And we're joined now by Sarah Wentz, a corporate attorney who specializes in conservatorship. She is not involved in Spears' legal proceedings. Kevin Frazier, host of Entertainment Tonight, also joins us. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sarah, let me start with you. I don't know, did you listen to the statement that Britney made yesterday, about a half an hour in length? And what's your sense of whether a woman who spoke for half an hour with some anguish about what she's going through, whether that woman should be under conservatorship at this point?
I did listen to it, and it was heartbreaking to hear. And the most difficult thing for me was why they're at this juncture in this hearing, because if her lawyer knew going into this that this is what her statement was going to be, in my opinion, they should have been there on a petition to terminate and not there to talk about changing out the conservatorship.
Yeah, I mean, what does it take to get out of a conservatorship typically? In that statement, Britney asked that she was able to do it without what she said, without evaluation. What does that mean?
When every person in the United States is deemed to have the right to manage their own financial affairs, unless a judge were to say that you're not. And in this case, all Britney would need to do, or Britney's lawyers on her behalf, is petition for a termination. Now, given the fact that this has been going on for 13 years, I would be surprised if they don't actually evaluate to make sure that it's appropriate. I understand that there's probably things in the record that we haven't seen, so I think it's really unlikely that they'll do it without actually evaluating things in detail.
Kevin, Jericka here. I know that you've interviewed Britney Spears a couple of times, and you understand the amount of money that this woman has been able to bring in at a time when she doesn't have control over simple decisions, as she states, and as she stated yesterday at this hearing. Can you talk about that, and what do you make of someone who's been able to continuously perform during this 13 years that she's been under this conservatorship?
Well, if you think about it, since 2008, Britney has put out 4 albums, gone on 4 world tours. Her last world tour, one of the most lucrative in history. She had a 4-year Vegas residency. She has the fragrance that brings in money. Her brother claimed that it has made more than $100 billion worldwide. But when you think about all that, that means that she is earning so much money for so many people. And under this conservatorship, her father has said he's increased her net worth from $2.8 million to $60 million. In other words, she's making money for everybody. And when you're making money for everybody, they don't want it to end.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, it's Tony Dokoupil. Britney made some pretty shocking allegations in her testimony yesterday. What stood out to you?
Well, there are 2 things, and you heard Sarah mention that she didn't realize that she could contest or end the conservatorship, but also that her medication was used as a sort of punishment. I interviewed Britney in 2006 in New Orleans. She was helping victims of Katrina, taking them shopping. She was a vibrant young woman. Then in 2008, December of 2008, at her birthday party, I interviewed her again. In my opinion, she was heavily medicated, and that was a red flag to us, that this woman was so heavily medicated but was still trotted out in front of the cameras. And I was really surprised at that. And now hearing these statements from Britney, it almost confirms what I thought. And once again, I'm not a medical expert, but I'm telling you what it looked like to me when I saw her that night in 2008.
Sarah, what do you expect to happen next in this case now after this statement?
I think that probably the next step will be that Britney is likely to get a new lawyer. There was some alarming statements in what I read yesterday about the judge trying to explain to her lawyer how he moves forward with the petition to terminate, and that's pretty scary as a lawyer that he didn't already understand what he needed to do to get there. And Britney has tried to bring out her own lawyer in the past, and they've refused to let her do that. The next step would be to file the petition for termination. And the other side, they could make this easy on her. Her conservators could agree to it, and they could accept a joint petition, and the judge could simply terminate it. But I'm guessing they're not going to do that. And what will probably happen is this will go into essentially a mini trial where they all present evidence on whether this should stay in place or not.
I want to go back to, Sarah, what I asked you in the beginning, though. I mean, when you listen to that statement that she made, this doesn't really sound like a woman who's not in control of her thinking or can control making decisions. I mean, is
That's exactly right.
Okay, so this doesn't typically sound like someone who would need a conservatorship, or does it?
No, it doesn't. And these types of conservatorships are typically used for people who don't have the ability to manage their finances, never had that, or had something like Alzheimer's or dementia and aren't going to regain their faculties. This is not a normal situation in any way, shape, or form. And I think it's heartbreaking, the things that she's alleging. If these are true, I think we're going to hear a lot more about what happens with these conservators and the role that they played in her lives.
All right, Sarah Wentz and Kevin Frazier, thank you both very much.